Welcome back, everybody, to the Too High McFly movie podcast. We appreciate you guys tuning in and making us your podcast today. My name is Kevin Lyons.
I'm Jose Ramos.
And today's June 1st, and we thought this is going to be a great opportunity to do a once-a-month thing where we're going to talk about all the movies that are going to come out this month, like a little movie preview. We have a lot of those this month, and that's what we're going to do. So after the music, we're just going to jump right into just a fun conversation about it. No real structure. We're just going to talk about the movies coming out. Because it's almost summertime, too, and we're getting closer to those summertime blockbusters, and it's just always fun to get excited about what new movies are coming out, right?
Exactly. And every week, it's that time of year where every week there's like, okay, I'll watch this type of movie. Because you get those lows throughout the year. Sometimes like around winter time, it's just like maybe a couple movies a month where you're like, I really want to see that.
Yeah, but
this time of year, it's almost every week you have something that you want to see.
Yeah, there's something to hold you over until the next big blockbuster. So, yeah, I'm excited. You ready to do this?
Let's do it.
Let's jump in it. All right, Jose, I always really like it when June rolls around because, like we're going to start to get those big blockbuster summertime movies. And, we have a good amount coming out this summer. I mean, not a lot of big action flicks coming out this month, but there's a couple of movies in there that we're excited to see to get ready for July and August. So what's the first one you want to talk about?
I mean, I guess we should start with what's coming out this weekend, the big one. And we're going to mostly focus on wide releases.
Yeah.
So we'll start with Dark Phoenix.
Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
XMen.
XMen. Oh, man. So this one is directed by Simon Kinberg, which I didn't see anything major in his background that he's done directing-wise. So it's, a newer director to mainstream movies.
Okay.
The writers, though, the writer Josh Brinn, he's written for two animated movies that I enjoyed. One was the Assault on Arkham, the Suicide Squad DC one.
Okay.
And another one called it was an Elseworld called Gods and Monsters.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's also a DC one, came out a couple years ago, and I enjoyed those. So that is in the background of the writer. They're seeing pretty much the cast of all the movies from First Class and the rest all return for this one.
The younger versions.
Yes, the younger version. Starting at First Class, like those younger version ones, returning for this one.
I gotta say, man, I'm kind of over this continuity of X-Men. Like, especially this age, like the First Class age. I really like James McAvoy as Professor X. I think a lot of the people do a great job. It's just like the same, we've just been getting them a lot, and they don't really knock us off our feet that much. I mean, Days of Future Past was really good. I really enjoyed that. And then they had Apocalypse, and that was just awful. And actually, First Class was okay. I remember watching that a couple of times after it came out. I thought it was okay.
I enjoyed that. The worst in the series for me was always X-Men 3, with good reason.
Yeah.
Until Apocalypse came out. And to me right now, that is not only the worst in this series, one of the worst comic book movies I have seen. It's up there in like a top 10 worst. So after seeing that one, I had no interest in seeing another one within this world. And here we go. So I'm going to watch it, but I'm going in with heavy skepticism just because of Apocalypse.
And also because these rights have now reverted back to Marvel. Marvel now has the X-Men. And we're just kind of ready for what they're going to do. Like, not that I want Marvel to be in charge of everything, but if it is a Marvel's property, I understand. But I'm just ready for a new continuity, a new fresh take on the X-Men. And Dark Phoenix looks like there could be some okay stuff in there. I'm going to see it. I'm not excited about it at all. And mainly the costumes throw me off. I thought the costumes looked so cheesy. They look like zip-up hoodies that you get on Amazon for your favorite superhero movie. That's what they look like, these costumes I've been seeing in the trailer. But, I mean, there's some cool stuff in space, it looks like. And what's her name? Who's playing the Phoenix?
Oh, Sophie Turner.
Sophie Turner. There we go.
There we go.
Boy George, right?
Yeah. I can't unsee that. Here's the thing. This is something else that it has against it is the Phoenix Saga was already done in the cinematic universe. And funny enough, that was the other like worst X-Men, which was X-Men 3. Yeah, that was the Phoenix Saga, but they changed it up a little bit. At least here they're going closer to what it was originally, which is she contracts it in space when they're like out in the mission.
Wait, that's what they're saying? This is going to be in the Dark Phoenix? That's where she gets it?
Yeah, they're out in the mission in space, and their ship gets hit. And that's how the energy goes into her of the Dark Phoenix. The point is that we already had this live action. We had the Phoenix. So you're kind of repeating the story, changing a few things. Mm-hmm. It's also, the Phoenix has been done in the comics, has been done in the animated series. It's kind of like the Red Hood storyline, where now it was done in the movie, it was done sort of in the comics, it was done in the video game. Is you see the same storyline so many times, you get fatigued of it. And I feel that's happening with the Phoenix also.
Even in X-Men 3, when that Phoenix, when we got to see her do that in that movie, there was that scene when she's at her childhood home. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That neighborhood scene? And I could be wrong, but I thought watching this trailer, the new one, I thought they saw the exact same scene with her like there in front, like in the neighborhood street. Like it almost looked like they just literally just copied it from X-Men 3.
It is. And something else it looks like they might be copying, judging from the trailer, is in that scene that you were talking about in X-Men 3, that's where she killed Xavier when he was trying to, help her. And it looks like here is where she kills Mystique while she's trying to help her. So they like switched it up. I mean, in the end, I hope it's good because, I grew up enjoying the X-Men. I hope my expectations are just set so low that I really enjoy it. Mm-hmm. And maybe they did something good with it, but after Apocalypse, it's hard to see them just turning it around so much.
Yeah, I'm ready for Marvel's take on it. Just to see, I feel like we'll get more of like the comic book, like what it looks like, all of them fighting together in the classic costumes, or at least the modern versions of the classic costumes. I think it'd be really cool. I mean, we still never seen a live action Wolverine with the classic Wolverine costume. How many movies did we get with Hugh Jackman? We never saw it.
That is true.
And I hope we get some of that. But anyway, I think what else do you want to talk about Dark Phoenix?
So I had a question for you. Overall, even with the failed quality of some of the movies, the X-Men franchise has made a lot of money.
Yes.
Do you think this one performs well in the box office after the disaster that was Apocalypse and it being the last one under Fox?
Do I think it's going to make money?
Do you think it'll make good money? Because the X-Men movies have always made good money, even if the quality wasn't great.
I mean, looking at it, it's only going up against one movie that weekend. That's The Secret Life of Pets, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But I think it will make some money. I don't think it's going to blow anybody out of the water because, I mean, this opens up this week, right?
Yeah.
And have you seen any of the marketing everywhere for Dark Phoenix?
Online. I've seen a lot of it online. A lot of the paid ads are popping up for Phoenix. I think it ends up being like their solo, where
it's okay. It's just not going to make a lot of money.
Yeah, where what happened before is going to sink this movie financially before it even goes out there. And I think it's going to be their worst performing one.
I can see that. But I don't think it's going to like not make money. I think it will make some money, but not a lot. Not enough to say, oh man, they shouldn't have brought these rights back to Marvel. Not that kind of money. But yeah, any other thoughts on Dark Phoenix, X-Men?
No. We'll get to see what we get this weekend.
Yeah, that's right. So be sure to tune in, you guys, next weekend to check out our review on Dark Phoenix. And up next weekend, too, is The Secret Life of Pets.
Yes. Have you seen the first one?
I have seen the first one. Actually, I saw the first one in the theater. I did see the first one in the theater. I liked it. I thought Louis C.K. was a great voice of Max the dog. Mm-hmm. And then they had that big situation where Louis C.K. got fucking shit-canned for his whole escapade of what happened, which I don't really... What are your thoughts on that with Louis C.K.?
Regarding that, I understand where the problem was. And again, it was just the hierarchy of the situation, the position of power, and, them feeling like they either didn't want to disappoint them or that maybe he can affect their career, so they felt like they had to. So in that aspect, I understand it. Was what he did worse or on par with some of these other people? No, I don't think so, because there was a consent factor.
Yeah.
So it's a tough situation, but I don't think it's worth a blackball or a long-term banning.
No, I think that he just got caught up in the hashtag Me Too movement because the girls that he did it to, they're not even the one that kickstarted that whole thing. They didn't even care because they were also comics. And I also heard, because I have some connections to the comedy scene, that there's more to that story, and that those, I guess, some of those girls were also like doing perverted things, and like I guess there was naked pictures or something. I don't know. I mean, that again, you're just hearing that from another source, but it just kind of spun out of control. No, he shouldn't have done what he did, using his power as a way to, put girls in that situation who are also comics. That was not, but it was consensual. It was consensual, but that situation was not good. It was definitely shouldn't have gotten, maybe taken off of this movie. I could see that, but overall, I mean, like, he lost everything, dude. Every single deal he
That
lost.
movie, he had a coming out, everything he had working with FX. So yeah, there's been a long consequence that he still hasn't gone through.
But I think that's just a little bump because he's been doing sets. He's been going back to stand-up comedy, and every show he's doing is jam-packed, sold out. And, like, you're not allowed to have any recording equipment. And he's going to come back. He's going to make a big comeback, and it's going to be fine. But
And that's the thing. People as a whole society tends to have short-term memories when it comes to things.
Yeah.
And it takes one person doing something great, whether it's an art or sport or whatever it is, for people to forget. You had a football player that was accused of murder, Ray Lewis. Is that the first thing that comes up when people talk about him? No, they talk about Hall of Fame football player. Kobe had a rape incident in Colorado. That really doesn't get brought up anymore. But they were ready to bury him when that happened. So whether it's right or not, society has a very short-term memory when it comes to these things.
And also, it's not really, like, against his character, because he's like that. Like, if you watch his sets, he talks about that exact shit that he does. And then, like, people were so wowed when that happened. And that was all over the place in the comedy world. Everybody knew about his weird thing like that. And he would ask permissions to do it, and people were like, fuck it. I'm going to watch Louis jerk off, like... But anyway, we should get back to Secret Life of Pets. I did like the first movie. I thought it was a fun movie going experience, and now the next one's coming out this weekend, and to replace Louis C.K., they got Patton Oswalt.
Yes, I did see that.
I mean, he's a comic a lot of people like, and I could see him having an interesting voice, and just, I don't know. I mean, I will go see it, but definitely going to go see Dark Phoenix first.
Yeah. Out of those two, I think Dark Phoenix makes more money because the wider appeal. But then I guess Secret Life of Pets has the family.
Yeah, I was about to say,
I
think Secret Life of Pets is gonna beat it in the box office for sure.
Yeah, because we had an example with Aladdin. It has so much bad juju going in for all that stuff, and it still made almost $100 million because of all the families. But I did see the first one. I did enjoy it. I didn't think it was no Pixar or anything like that, but it was still enjoyable, and it's got decent funny cast with the addition of Patton Oswalt, Kevin Hart, Harrison Ford is in it.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I don't even know what the plot for the second one is about. What's the next one about? Because the first one was like Max, his owner brings home a new dog, and they don't get along. All of a sudden, they get thrown out of the house by accident. They get locked out of the house. They go on this crazy adventure, and then they end up liking each other by the end of it.
Yeah, this one, it seems like is the dog being overprotected over the new kid, the new baby. Oh. So that seems to be the plot of this one. This might be a wait to DVD for me. I don't know if I'll go to the theater to watch it.
Yeah,
I'll go watch Phoenix just because it's the end cap of the X-Men world that Fox has created. But Secret Life will be more of a DVD for me.
Yeah, I don't see myself rushing out to the theaters. I might go see it, but who knows? But and I also think that Louis C.K. not being in it is gonna hurt this movie at all. Kids aren't going to know the difference. They won't care.
No.
Remember growing up watching the Ninja Turtles movies, and all the Ninja Turtles voices were different in, every movie, and, you didn't care.
Yeah. I mean, even as an adult now, a lot of times with these animated movies, very few times can I pinpoint exactly who it is. I'm not good at recognizing voices. So a lot of times people have to tell me, hey, do you know this was this? I'm like, oh, that was him? I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
Because
sometimes you can tell, but sometimes it's...
Yeah, you have the people with very distinct voices. Like, I can tell Kevin Hart's the rabbit.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way you could not identify that.
Kevin Hart. He's hilarious, man. Yeah. Cool. So anything else on Secret Life of Pets?
No, I think that's it. We can move on to the next weekend. We have... The main attraction is going to be Men in Black International.
Yeah, I think that one is probably going to make the most money out of all those movies that month. Maybe possibly Toy Story 4.
I think Toy Story is going to be the one. But yeah, I think Men in Black might be second on this. It's got a good director. You got F. Gary Gray. Some of his biggest projects were Straight Outta Compton and Set It Off.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I can see this movie doing really well because it has a lot of things going for it. First of all, the Men in Black franchise. That's been a popular franchise over the years and a little bit nostalgic. I remember when that movie came out. And also has the cast from Thor Ragnarok, basically, Chris Hemsworth and what's her name?
Tessa Thompson.
Tessa, she's so great. I love her.
And they've shown to have really good chemistry with each other, and that's already been shown through 2 movies.
And this movie, this Men in Black movie, even though it is a Men in Black, and it didn't seem like they strayed too much from like the design aspect of what the world is, it feels like it's a very different type of movie than the other Men in Black movies. Like a new updated, it feels like Thor Ragnarok, but on Earth.
Yeah.
Than Men in Black. Like, that's what I'm excited for. See, when you were telling me you're gonna do another Men in Black movie, it was just like, okay, I'm like that one, whatever. But then when I see that it's those two from Thor Ragnarok, and I can see their chemistry is transferred over into this film successfully, I'm like, I'm kind of excited for Men in Black International. I think that could be a really fun movie.
I think it might be one of those movies that maybe if the story isn't up to snuff, Chris and Tessa will be able to carry it.
Yeah, definitely.
Themselves. That you can come out of it and be like, they were good.
Yeah.
They carried the movie.
Absolutely.
One thing, though, with this, because we talked about Louis C.K. in Secret Life of Pets, we have actor in here who also has some recent controversy. Who? And that's Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson?
Yeah.
What controversy does he have?
He had the Revenge Story controversy. Did you not hear about that?
I think I heard something. Tell me. What
the last movie that he had coming out, he was doing promotional interviews for it, and he told a story from when he was younger. I think it was like 20, 30 years ago or something. And he was in his hometown in Ireland, I believe.
Okay.
And a very close friend of him told him that she got raped. And he became so upset and angry, he just went out in rage in that street. And all he knew is it was a black person that I raped. And he admitted that he was so enraged and for revenge that he just went out that night, walking the streets looking for any black person to fight.
Oh, fuck.
and to beat up. And he told this story to promote the message that you make bad decisions and you don't do the right thing if you're driven by revenge. And he learned that night afterwards, he was so embarrassed with himself that was his reaction and what he was going, that it made him change his life and his perspective and the way he sees things. And he got a lot of backlash from that story because everyone was like, oh, he went out hunting any black person, even though I guess by the story it was a black person who raped, but he didn't know who it was.
Yeah.
But the fact that he said any black person to fight. And so that really blew up. I think it affected his last movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Because, like, all right, if that was something that he had just done now, I can see it. But for the fact that he was bringing it up as, like, a moral lesson that he learned, I can at least be like, okay, that wouldn't make me not want to go see his movies. But if it was something that he had done, like, recently, that'd be, like, fucked up. But for the fact that he was just bringing that up just to, like, a moral lesson that he learned in life and talking about something that happened years ago, that shouldn't affect his movie.
No, and I agree. But it did, like I said, he got a lot of backlash. It affected his last movie. But I do agree with you. One, it was decades ago. And this isn't something someone found out. And he's here doing damage control. Like, he brought this up himself, like you said, to give a message and a moral, which was linked. I didn't see his movie, but according to him, it was linked to the message of the movie because his character in the movie is driven by revenge.
Yeah. Do you think that that's why he killed all those guys in Taken? Because they kind of resemble the guy that took his... He just killed all those guys. He's like, they have the same accent, that would kill them.
I know someone that talked like this, kidnapped my daughter, so I will kill all of them.
Whenever he hears anybody say good luck, he just kills them anywhere. But anyway, yeah, I even forgot that he was in this movie. But he seems like he would be in a Men in Black movie. And I'm kind of excited for it. It looks like it's going to be fun. It looks like it's going to be a little bit more action-y than it was alien-y in the original movies. That's what I meant when like it kind of looked different. It felt like a different type of action movie. It looks really cool.
Yeah, I wasn't excited when I heard it was coming out. I know they've talked about it for many, many years.
Especially with a crossover with 21 Jump Street.
Yeah, so every time I heard it, I was like, that's not... But then I saw the trailer, and then I saw, with Hemsworth and Tessa together, and I'm like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah. We can do it.
Yeah, so I think this one will be a watch in theater, and I think it's going to do very well in the box office.
Yeah, definitely watching. I think this movie's going to make a lot of money in the box office. Okay, so any other thoughts on Men in Black? Do you think that they're going to have any type of reference to the first movies, like Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones?
I think they'll have something. Yeah,
they'll have some type of reference, or
even if it's like a
Hall of
picture,
Fame.
Yeah,
a Hall of Fame of Men in Black and their fucking thing,
or a mention. There will be an Easter egg to the original. I think you have to.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So up next we got Shaft, and that's the same weekend as Men in Black.
Yeah. So
what do you think is going to win that weekend?
I think it's going to be Men in Black.
Yeah.
It has a bigger following and it fits a larger demographic. So Men in Black, you will get kids, you get families, you get adults. Shaft is more adult oriented.
Yeah, but it stars Samuel L. Jackson, dude, and it's so funny. Nick Fury's going up against Valkyrie and Thor that weekend, dude. That's kind of funny. But I never got into the Shaft movies, but I'm not gonna lie, that they do look interesting. I for some reason I've just never watched them, and there's a lot of great movies that I've just never watched because I haven't had time or I've just haven't been in that mood to watch them. But actually watching the trailers for Shaft, it actually looks like it could be pretty decent and fun.
Yeah, I watched the trailer and I laughed a couple times, and Samuel Jackson, regardless of the movie, is always entertaining.
Yeah.
In a way. So the director of this is Tim Story. Not the greatest track record in my opinion. His two big things were Ride Along with Ice Cube and Kevin Hart, and Think Like a Man.
Think Like a Man. I don't even know what that one is.
I remember it was a movie. You had these group of guys and these group of women, and they decided that if they started thinking like a man and making decisions like a man, they'll gain control over their man. Something like that. It was some concept like that. But yeah, not the greatest track records with that. And then the writers also don't have a lot of mainstream movie experience. One of the writers did the sequel to Barbershop Next Cut. I don't think it was the direct sequel. It was like a third sequel. And the other writer has worked pretty much all on TV shows, the Goldbergs being their main show.
Have you watched that show, The Goldbergs?
I saw the first like two and a half seasons, and I really enjoyed it. But I just had so many shows that's one of the ones that kind of got left in the wind.
Did you watch that Nightmare on Elm Street episode?
No, that one I didn't. That was after I had gotten off of it.
I really wanted. That's like the one episode I'm like, all right, I definitely have to watch this, but I haven't. But I kind of want to watch the whole thing. I heard it's good.
It was, and then the nostalgia about it. They had like a Back to the Future episode where he builds like his own like hoverboard so you can like.
Oh really?
Yeah, because it's all those years. So it's when you're watching that, it's the stuff we did as a kid, and he's trying to do the same stuff.
All right.
But yeah, I think it's gonna be good. This one I might watch in the theater also.
Shaft.
Yeah, depending on my schedule is. But it has Alexandra Shipp in it, and she is Storm in an XMen.
Oh really? Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
you'll be seeing her twice in that month.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Yeah. Well, I think I would definitely go see this, depending on how great Men in Black is. If Men in Black is so good that I want to do a repeat viewing, that might take precedence over Shaft. But I definitely want to check out Shaft. It looks fun. All right, so up next is my most anticipated movie of the month.
And the best matchup of the month. This is going to be the most competitive matchup.
I think. So the weekend of the 21st, we have Child's Play and Toy Story 4. Toy Story 4 is going to take it. It's going to take that weekend, but
it's going to take the month.
Yeah. But Child's Play is my most anticipated. Like I might even see that a couple of times because I mean we're big horror guys. We have our segment Terrorphobia where we just concentrate on horror movies and stuff. And Child's Play and Chucky is one of those like iconic staple horror movies, like characters that we've grown up through over the years. And those movies are always ridiculous. They were all like Chucky is never scary. He has never been scary in any of those movies. And in fact, as soon as you see Chucky, you start to laugh. But I will give them this movie because the trailers look really good. It looks like it's going to be a good horror movie. It looks like they're actually trying to make Chucky scary, but his design isn't as scary. It's one of those things where I've seen all the pictures of what he looks like now, and honestly, my personal opinion, that is the worst part of what this movie might be, is like how the design of Chucky, because I thought he was designed way better in the original movies, but they also got Mark Hamill to voice him. So it's kind of like as much as I don't like it, I love it because Mark Hamill is voicing him, and it just looks like it's going to be a rad movie, dude. I'm really stoked for Child's Play.
Yeah, I've always loved Chucky growing up. Even recently, I rewatched the original 3.
Yeah,
but like Chucky's been around for so long, and these movies have been around in all different forms and format. Like I feel like Chucky is the Madonna of like horror movie dolls. It just keeps reinventing itself and changing, and not always for the best, but it's always around somehow. And now we're getting the latest iteration of Chucky. But the thing is like, even though the story is changing, like the origin and all that of Chucky,
a little bit, yeah.
Well, I mean, going to AI from
but still the structure of the movie seems to be pretty much the same.
But I mean, like origin aspect, like even though that is happening, it's still Don Mancini behind it. And he is the creator of Chucky. Yeah. And he's at least co-written every single Chucky movie that has come out from Child's Play 1 to here. So you have someone who created it, knows the character better than anyone else, still backing it and being part of it, and was part of the writing group for this new origin.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, the original origin of Chucky in Child's Play was that there was a gangster called Charles Lee Ray? Yeah. Charles Lee Ray. He was a gangster, but he was into like voodoo and shit. And it opens up with him on a chase with cops, and he finally gets to a department store, and he's been shot, and he sees all those Chucky dolls, and he does some voodoo shit and gets his soul implanted in the doll. And then the rest of the movie and series and franchise, he's trying to find this kid Andy so he can transfer his soul into Andy so he can be a human again. That's basically the plot of Chucky, but he just kills everybody. The new one, it looks like, and they've come out and said this, that it's going to be an AI, a super advanced AI doll that's like, goes with the apps in your phone and control a bunch of different things. It's like Alexa.
Like an ecosystem.
Yeah. And what's different about that, I mean, it could be scary because it's an AI, right? It's the fucking Terminator. Basically, essentially, it's not a soul of somebody. But I also heard that the guy who created, like in the movie, who created the Chucky doll was the one that set off the just on that one just to be crazy, and it was probably his self implanted into the AI's personality or whatnot. So it probably is the guy who created. It's symbolic, but not as like voodoo.
Maybe
fucking
they'll give
my
him
soul.
the same name.
Yeah, kind of like maybe kind of like how Jor-El gives like all of his knowledge into the Fortress of Solitude into that AI, but it's not Jor-El, but it looks like Jor-El for Superman. That's what I think. Like this guy who created the AI doll is gonna be like for Chucky, who knows? And I kind of wanted that to be Mark Hamill, but I don't think it's gonna be. I think he was just voicing the doll Chucky.
Sure. One thing with this is like I feel one bit of pressure that this movie and Mancini have in this is that we're gonna have the Chucky TV show that's gonna be coming out. I think at some point this year or early next year, it's gonna be released. And he's not happy about that. He was asked if he wanted to be part of it, and he got upset. He was like, "I have a movie coming out from this," and his last two movies, even though they weren't theatrical, the last two Chucky movies, even though they weren't theatrical releases, they actually were received well, and they actually weren't too bad. I enjoyed the last two. It went back. That's when it started going back to horror elements and less of the cheesy aspects of it. So he was like, they're received well. I got a new movie coming out. Like, why are you doing this TV show? And he refused to be part of it. So I think he has a little extra motivation of making this as good as possible to overshadow that TV show that does not include him, even though it's the character that he created.
Yeah. I can picture this being really good. Like I said before, the only thing I didn't like was the actual design of Chucky's face. He kind of looks like Hulk from the first Hulk movie. You know, he has that same face. It's so weird. But then in some of the trailer scenes, I noticed like Chucky in the dark with his eyes glowing red, and that looks fucking creepy as fuck. Because the scariest part about Chucky, you know, is like his quick little feet running off into the distance. Like whenever I'm like if in my apartment here and I hear a noise, I always go to Chucky's feet running by me. I'm like, is that Chucky? You know?
Yeah, when he's kicking fireplace gates down.
Yeah. Oh man, dude! Because we rewatched that first movie, I don't know, last month, and that scene when he's breaking into the apartment and he shimmies down the chimney, and then he just steps out and he kicks open that fence that's blocking the fireplace. We have never laughed so hard because that was a midget in a Chucky costume. Just the way that he just kicked down that fireplace is like, oh man,
it reminds me of like the Big Bird meme when he kicks down the door.
That's exactly what it was when Big Bird kicks down the door. That's exactly what Chucky was coming out of that fireplace. And man, we still laugh. We had to pause the movie and rewatch that part a couple of times. It was so funny. But anyway, yeah. Any other thoughts on Toys? I mean, not Toy Story. Child's Play.
I can't wait to see what Hamill does. It's just that little snippet at the end of the latest trailer when he says, what was it, like "Hello, Andy" or something like that.
Friends to the end.
And something like that. I'm sold.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh man, and their marketing is doing good because they're playing off of the Toy Story 4 marketing with the posters.
Yeah.
Because Toy Story 4 comes out that same weekend, and they had that poster with Woody, you know, and then in the Chucky poster they took the same background and they just put Chucky's foot on it like he stepped on Woody, you know, and that was like, oh, that's a pretty interesting thing because they're two big franchises, but they're both about kids' toys.
I'll tell you this, they were really getting head to head. Chucky will fuck all those toys up.
They should do it. Oh man, how funny would that be if there was a Chucky doll in Toy Story 4 and he's just locked up and you know what I mean? Wouldn't that be funny if
Don't
they
let him
acknowledged
lose.
that? Yeah. I think that would be funny if they just tipped their hat to the franchise like that. That'd be great because Toy Story 4 is going to make a lot of money. Let's move on to Toy Story 4.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of the first movie and I have not seen any of the other ones.
Really?
Yes. I don't know why I've been waiting. I don't know why. It was never like, I don't want to watch these movies. It's just like, I remember seeing the first one. I really liked the first one. And for some reason, whenever the other ones came out, I just never saw them. It's one of those things like, I want to wait for the right time because I really just want to enjoy them. So I'm basically waiting for all of them to be done so I can just watch them all back to back.
They keep making this money. It might be a while before they're all done. But no, I've seen them all. I really enjoy all three of them. I feel the last one, it's like it grew up with us because it had more adult themes than some of the original ones had.
Okay.
So I remember watching it, and it gets to a certain part where I'm like, this is not for kids. And I guess there were reports of like some kids crying in the theater. Because those part was like, this is a little too scary.
Everybody keeps saying that about Toy Story 3, and that makes me not want to watch it because I don't want to cry. Yeah, I cry at every movie though. But I know for some reason, whatever it is that they're saying, like Augustina loves the Toy Story movies, and he tells Toy Story 3 is like, man, you fucking cry every time you watch it. I'm like, I think I'm gonna avoid that movie now.
It's so good though. If they bring that element to 4, where It still gives it that nostalgia, but then you got a little bit for us, the adults who watch the original ones, because yeah, you want to market it to kids, but then you also want to market it and make it for us that grew up with it,
Yeah.
so we can enjoy it. So if they're able to do that as well as part three, I think this is gonna do well. It's returning, most of the cast, and they've added Keanu Reeves.
Oh, dude, that's where you get me. I'm gonna watch all of them and then just go see it for Keanu.
Yeah, they added Keanu. This is the one that added Tony Hale.
Yeah.
To it. He plays Sporky.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
In there.
I saw that concept of it. That looked pretty cool.
Yeah, and
those
then,
little toys that you make in like
yeah,
like the preschool arts and crafts. But technically, it is a toy, so it's like this weird put together spork.
And it's cool that in here it's like as soon as it becomes a toy to a little girl, it comes to life.
Yeah, that's cool. That's kind of cool. I like that. That's a really cool concept for that. But Keanu, who's Keanu playing? Isn't he playing like a Evil Knievel type of doll?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, right.
He's the action hero.
Yeah. Oh man, that's so great. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's great because Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, they're back for this, obviously, right?
Yes, it returns pretty much the majority of the major cast in there. And then the writer for this, he's written some gems, Finding Dory. He's written all the Toy Stories.
Okay.
He wrote Wally, Monsters, Inc. That's just some of them. There was too long of a list, but pretty much a lot of their major hits, Andrew Stanton was involved in writing them or coming up with the story.
Yeah, those movies are all really good. Like the Pixar animation, I love. They're so amazing and so beautifully done. But a lot of times I have to be in the mood for animation if I just want to start, watching them all. But now that we're getting ready for Toy Story, that's why I'm kind of mad that it's coming out the same weekend as Chucky, because I'm going to be in horror movie mode, and immediately I'm just going to want to delve into more horror movies. But then Toy Story 4, I'm like, oh, I got to go watch Toy Story 4. So it's just like a little unbalanced, but I'm excited for Toy Story. Maybe actually, you know what? I'll watch the other two movies before that movie comes out.
You got time. You got 2 weeks.
Nice. So yeah, Toy Story 4 opens up on the 21st. And then we're up to our last movie of the month, which is another horror movie, Annabelle 3 on the 27th.
Back home, going back home, Annabelle going back home.
What? Oh, is that the name of it? Going Back Home?
Yeah.
You know what, man? We've talked about this, especially with La Llorona, and how like James Wan has his own horror movie verse. And I just don't understand the point of it if it's not all going to culminate into something, if they're all connected. But the Annabelle movies, why I didn't like them before was the actual history of the Annabelle doll. Nobody knows because it's based off of a real doll that Elizabeth Warren and not Elizabeth Warren. What was her name? Is her name Elizabeth Warren? Isn't that the senator over on the East Coast?
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Yeah, it's Lorraine.
Lorraine. That's what it is.
Yeah,
Lorraine.
yeah.
Ed and Lorraine Warren.
There's an L in both of them.
I'm like, what? Nah, yeah, Ed and Lorraine Warren, they were like ghost hunters, and like she's a medium and stuff, and they came across that doll from those like nurse students. And the mom from that nurse students got that doll from an antique shop. It was an Annie doll, the Raggedy Ann and Annie doll. That's where she got it. But other than that, nobody knows the history of it. And now that they're just trying to make movies about the creation of that doll, and it's just like, it takes me out of it because I now know that it's not based off of an actual event anymore. When the other Conjuring movies are based on actual events that have happened. And that's what I feel like makes those a little bit more scarier to me, because I know that this shit actually happened. Well, in some way, shape, or form. But that's what takes me out of the Annabelle movies. I never saw the first Annabelle movie. I saw the second one, and I thought the second one was okay with its scares. I mean, like these movies, these James Wan side spinoff movies, they're actual scares and like their feeling of scary. It works pretty good, even if the movie's not exactly very good.
Yeah, I've seen them both. The Annabelle series is the weakest out of the entire Conjuring universe, in my opinion, so far. The second one did make improvements. The first one is really bad. So the second one did better, but it still wasn't great. But those were all pretty much like prequels.
Yeah.
So this one seems to be more of a sequel set up after the Conjuring in there. So different time frames. The Warrens are involved again. So let's see.
Oh wait, they're in. Were they in the? They weren't in the other Annabelle movies.
No, because they were like prequels.
Oh, okay. So this one takes place with the Warrens are in this movie.
Yeah, because this is the doll escaping out of their house.
Oh, really?
They have it trapped down below.
Oh man, could you imagine if this came out the same weekend as Child's Play and Toy Story?
The killer doll. Yeah,
two killer doll movies back to back weekends. Dude.
Yeah. So the concept of this one, at least this is what I got from the trailer, is you remember they have the locked room with all their demonic stuff that they have to keep blessing. And all that stuff. So they leave and they leave a babysitter in charge. And the babysitters end up going down there. They get the information from the girls, like, "Oh, where do your parents keep it? Let's check it out." And they look at everything, and that's what allows the doll to escape. Because I guess they open it up. But what changes is that Annabelle kind of becomes a conduit to a lot of the evil forces that are in that room.
Oh, okay. So it's not like the one demon that's been always possessing it. Now it's like all these other.
I think it's at least that's what I got from the trailer. It's a conduit. So a lot of the other stuff that they had in there that was possessed or anything or cursed, now is free because of Annabelle, and so they're going against multiple demons or curses. But it starts off at the Warrens' house, so it's going to be the Warrens, I think, battling them.
Oh wow! Yeah, are they doing Conjuring 3 this year?
Yeah, I think that does come out this year. I want to say early fall.
We don't even have any trailers for it yet. Right?
Not that I've seen. They might be waiting for after Annabelle
to release any type of information about what happens next.
Probably, yeah. Let's see what the release date. September of next year.
Oh, next year. Okay, so 2020. All right. Yeah. I mean, I could get on board with Annabelle 3 if it's like you said, an actual sequel instead of a prequel telling us where the doll came from. It involves the Warrens. I like those actors. There's Patrick Wilson and
Vera Farmiga.
Yeah,
Farmiga.
Those two are really great together. They're in a bunch of those
James Wan
movies. They're great. I could get on board. I can go see it, but
and
just because it's a horror, we're big horror fans. So.
And this is one where James Wan is not just producing. He's a co-writer.
Oh, okay.
So he actually sinking his teeth into this one, and the other co-writer on this has written on both It movies, the ones coming out this year and the last one. He wrote, it looked like quite a few episodes on Swamp Thing, and I saw the pilot yesterday, and that was really good. He also, but unfortunately, with those two good things, he also wrote the other two Annabelles in there.
Yeah, but I think he's learned his lessons.
And then middle ground was The Nun.
Yeah. Well, what has been your favorite Conjuring spinoff movie so far?
I would have to say The Nun.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. Yeah. I think that's my favorite spinoff movie, The Nun, and then La Llorona.
Yeah,
I like La Llorona more than all the Annabelle movies.
Annabelle's the prequel sequel, and then the first Annabelle they released at the bottom.
Yeah,
for me on the.
But I really enjoyed The Nun, man. I've been meaning to give that another rewatch. I haven't watched that in a while since it came out, actually. So I've been meaning to watch that again. All right, anything else about Annabelle 3?
No, that's pretty much it. I think it continues a success that the universe has done box office wise.
But what's the whole point? That's what I want to know, is why is there a universe? Why is there a Conjuring universe? And I hope we get that answer at some point, because I mean, if you're building a universe, it's to build towards something. So what is that something that they're building?
Maybe it comes Conjuring 3, because if this takes place after Conjuring 2 and 3 comes out next year, that might be a bookend type movie.
Well, I hope so. Wouldn't it be funny if all those demons from all those movies just teamed up? You got the Nun, La Llorona, you got Annabelle, all in the fucking quantum realm suits.
They're gonna have to call like Constantine, the Winchester brothers.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that wraps up our movies for this June and getting ready for the summer. So I'm excited to see a good amount of these. The main one for me is going to be Child's Play and Men in Black. I think I'm excited for those two the most.
Yeah, Men in Black that he mentioned is one of the writers on there is Art Markham, and and Matt Holloway, and both of those actually wrote the original Iron Man.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so I think Men in Black's gonna be good.
They did Iron Man, but they have a couple clinkers on their resume too, which is Punisher Warzone, and well, I can't say Transformers: The Last Night. I haven't seen it. I refuse to see it.
I heard it was really bad. I didn't go see it.
But they did write Iron Man, so there's potential there.
Hey, man. Well, at least they know how to work with those Marvel actors. I'm excited for Men in Black. I think that's going to be a great one.
I think out of the whole month, my top excitement is for Child's Play.
Yeah, that's my number one.
Yeah, that's my number one. I think the only one I might not do theater is going to be Secret Life of Pets.
Yeah.
But then it's not anything against the movie. The movie's just not. It's not for my demographic, my group. I'll watch that at home. I don't have an interest to go watch in the theater.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that wraps up our conversation for tonight. What do you say, buddy?
Yeah, it was good. And then look forward to, we'll do this again. July's got some gems in there, so we'll do that at the end of June.
Yeah, awesome. I'm excited to do that one too. All right, guys. If you guys listen to us on SoundCloud or Spotify, why don't you guys travel over to our YouTube channel at Too High McFly Productions. Check out our other reviews. We have short films and a bunch of other content on there for you guys to enjoy. You guys can also reach out to us on Twitter at Too High McFly Productions. Drop us a line. Let us know what movie you're excited for this June. And also on Instagram at Too High McFly Productions. Until next time, I'm Kevin Lyons.
I'm Jose Ramos.
And we'll see you guys at the movies.
We like to